Come over here, Martin.
Well, you know, there were like 15,000 people in the crowd that day, and every one of the people here heard every word of the address according to their accounts, even on the far outskirts of the crowd. So that's a common
A bunch of liars.
Here's a copy, Martin, if you want.
Those folks.
But you know, one thing
Come
we like
over
to tell people that if 15,000 people attended the Gettysburg Address and the crowd is out here in front of us, probably 10,000 of them are from Adams County. So, and a lot of the people that heard the Gettysburg Address are buried here in the cemetery around us. For the rest of their lives, you know, they remembered this moment that they were here and heard Lincoln deliver the address.
When I was getting ready to play this part, I went to the Library of Congress, and the spoken word librarian speculated about whether it could have been possible that he was heard, and he said that his voice was famously pitched, and then he played some people from Appalachia, and you can imagine that it had carrying power. So who knows? Who knows how far it went? But anyway, I'm not going to do that now.
That's pretty good. I want to hear more of it.
I'm just going to read it very quietly. 87 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. That this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. It's so good. It is so good. Thanks. But I mean, we were talking about this. We were talking about this coming over in the car. You know, this speech is now like a monument. People forget to notice, maybe, what a great piece of speech writing it is. It is just astounding. And boy, is it mighty to be standing here?
I'm wondering if anyone knows that. Has anyone ever done it here? They have.
Yes.
Who's done it here?
Well, not any of the dignitaries. Yeah. And there's the superintendent of this cemetery.
No request to the cemetery,
No.
for anybody to read.
Yeah, today there's a rostrum set up over there when they do the Gettysburg Address ceremony November 19th. Right. Yeah.
But no one has ever done it on this spot since the man that did it originally.
Well, not that I know. Well,
Maybe privately.
maybe privately.
Here's another
That's right.
story
That's
that
good.
sort of
That's
links
very
to what it feels like to be doing this here. When I was getting ready to play Lincoln, I went to the Library of Congress, and I went into I don't know if you're familiar with what the Library of Congress is like, but the card catalog room used to be just to your right when you came up the stairs, and it was a magnificent room with a big domed ceiling and all that stuff, and just card files as far as the eye could see. So I'm standing there sort of sucking my thumb, and somebody comes over and says, can I help you? And I say, and she's got the Library of Congress uniform on. I say, I don't know, maybe. I'm just wondering if you got anything here about Lincoln. And she kind of looked at me like I must have been from Mars and said, we are the Lincoln Library. And I said, oh, good. And she said, may I ask why you ask? And I said, because I'm going to play him. And she said, oh dear. And then she spent the rest of the afternoon, she marshaled the troops, and they just poured stuff into me. So I was just absolutely crammed full of stuff, and then I was going to have to leave. And I can't remember his name, but one of the people that had been feeding me information said one last thing, and it was getting to be the end of the day and people were starting to leave the library and all that stuff. So I follow him, and we, the staircases at the Library of Congress are very impressive. So we go down these huge staircases, down and down and down, and we get to the ground, the basement, and there's nobody in the hall or anything, and most of the lights are out, and we go down the hall, and then we go down another hall, and it's really, really far, and we get to there's a room on the right at the back end of the hall, and he opens the door, and there are big, like pool table sized tables, work tables with lamps over them, and they're all out except one at the very back right hand corner of the room, and there's a guy working at the table, and the man I'm with says, have you closed it up yet? And he says, no, but I'm about to. He says, wait, I have somebody I want to show this stuff to. He says, well, from the back of the room as we're crossing the floor, I don't know if that's a good, no, it's on me, I take responsibility. So we get there, and somebody hold this. And he scoops up what's on the table, and he says, hold out your hands. Hold out your hands.
Please.
Yeah. The contents of Lincoln's pockets on the night he was shot. So, that's like this. That's like this. This is something. So, wow. Whoever had the idea of bringing us here, thank you.
He's right there.
It was you. It was you. I knew it was you. I forgot.
Great idea.
What a great idea.
Thank you so much,
Who
everyone.
has the copy?
Oh, of the address?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to sign one? That's a great idea. There. Oh, that's
the
wonderful.
very one you held.
Yes. Oh, that's so cool.
And the date?
What is the
April 5.
Good. 4 or 5?
I think that was the
That's
day he
right.
was shot, wasn't it?
No, I think he was shot. Wow, I should know that. What day was he shot, Harold?
The 14th.
14th.
14. Can you put the 14th on?
That would be a
This is for
lie.
your organization.
Oh, well, that's very kind of
And this
you.
is for the
How
other
about you? Aren't you
organization.
going to sign?
No, I was a witness. So if you- so this organization.
But usually
That's
the
very
witness
sweet.
signs.
Yep, we'll give one to Gary too.
So Gary, so
Yeah.
your organization is the
American Battlefield Trust.
American Battle, and
And
your
there's the Adams
organization,
County Historical Society.
Historical Society,
That's
and
right.
this museum is the one we
Yes, I'll see
visited
it
today.
tomorrow.
see it.
Actually, Sunday morning. Yep.
Andrew should put
I will guard it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sam.
This is so cool,
It's an
Martin.
honor to have you both here.
Thank you.
It's still April 5th, but not for long. Please.
Wait a minute. I don't want this to be over.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you
So
so
that's
much.
for
That's very
the
nice.
other organization.
Very good, Gary. Sorry.
And this
And I'll
is that
take
yours?
that. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. This is very kind. This was
Yeah.
an unforgettable experience, and I love the idea that this has really never been done at the actual site. That it's
I love
always,
it too.
It's always been done over there. So to have this gathering at exactly where the platform stood, just as Lincoln did as he stood in his speech. Yeah.
Andrew, where was the audience? This one.
The audience, I believe, it's facing.
Yeah, this
Oh, so we
It's
have to do it
facing-
again.
Take two.
You're close
Why,
enough.
this is outrageous.
You're close enough. It's a shame the exact spot wasn't marked. I mean, this is all based on photographs.
Yeah.
So we have photographs taken from a distance, and people have lined them up and compared the angles on that gatehouse building, which is still standing, and other parts of the topography and headstones that are still here. And so the exact site is sort of a mystery, but we know it's right around this area.
Going there.
Going
to the soldiers'
facing
cemetery, which
towards
is
the
that way.
cemetery.
Hello, this is Trace Atkins. To stay up to date on all the latest and coolest videos, please subscribe to the Trust's YouTube channel. Preserve, educate, inspire.